lot of news has surfaced within the last day about our upcoming Zelda titles, and so today we're going to go over the biggest Zelda headlines to come out of E3 thus far. Eiji Aonuma has been making his rounds with interviews, and we found a few key takeaways from the new Breath of the Wild sequel. In an interview with Game Informer, Aonuma talked about his decision to create a sequel for Breath of the Wild, stating that one of the reasons we wanted to create a continuation was because I wanted to revisit that Hyrule again and use that world again, while incorporating new gameplay and new story. Aonuma also teased the idea that players should expect DLC to return for the sequel as well, saying, "I really like the idea of having DLC or anything coming after the main game. People played the game longer and enjoy the game a lot deeper. Going forward, that's definitely something we'll think about." This is incredible news, and I think shows how Nintendo plans to develop content for future releases of the Zelda franchise. The expansion pass for the original Breath of the Wild was a welcome addition to an already incredible base game, but then expanded it further with more story and gameplay elements. Aonuma also revealed that Breath of the Wild director Hidemaru Fujibayashi will be returning to direct the sequel. Aonuma shed new light about the tone of Breath of the Wild 2 in an interview he had with IGN. When asked if the game had any ties to Majora's Mask, he said, "The new Breath of the Wild or sequel to it is not necessarily going to be related to Majora's Mask or inspired by it. What we showed you currently is a little darker." This is quite the claim, as Majora's Mask has one of the darkest tones and subject matters in Zelda's history. We shall expect something sinister to come out of this new title. Aonuma was also asked what games the development team were playing and which ones they were drawing inspiration from, and stated that a lot of the younger developers had been playing Red Dead Redemption 2, so we might be looking at something more akin to Breath of the Wild West and more heavily story-based, which is okay with me. Aonuma was pretty tight-lipped and said that he didn't want to reveal much because the game was still in early development, but just from the information given so far, I'm very much looking forward to this more gritty and dark tone. Link's Awakening is a game that's coming out in case you forgot with all this excitement about Breath of the Wild 2, and it's releasing on September 20th. Europe gets this absolutely beautiful collector's edition that better make its way over to the States or I'm going to be very upset. Included in this are a physical copy of the game, a 120-page art book, and a Game Boy-themed steelbook case, and a box to put it all in. For us lowly Americans, we get a collector's edition in the form of the Dreamer Edition, which includes the game and art book, which granted still looks amazing. During Aonuma's interview with Game Informer, he also discussed the process of remaking Zelda games. Remakes happen for Zelda when Aonuma sees room for new features to be added, and in the case of Link's Awakening, he felt like going back to a traditional style Zelda would be fresh for people after experiencing Breath of the Wild. Accessibility was also a factor in remaking Link's Awakening. Aonuma said that given how difficult it is to get your hands on a copy of Link's Awakening, also played a part in the recreation of this game. As for the new feature implemented, we saw the new addition of a Dungeon Maker. It was also revealed during the Treehouse Live presentation that a new Link's Awakening amiibo has been created and will drop Shadow Link into your dungeons to chase you around and create chaos. We also learned that all Zelda amiibos will be compatible and offer different functionality in the dungeons. And sadly, Aonuma crushed all dreams of a Skyward Sword remake without motion control, stating that it would be impossible to do so. Fair enough response. They'd essentially have to remake the entire game, and they clearly don't have time for that. But that's going to do it for Zelda news today. If anything else is revealed in the coming days, be sure to keep an eye out on the channel for more Zelda news coverage. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you like this content and would like to see more Zelda content. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.